Hello, my new students. Welcome to Biomimicry and for Designers. I am Dr. Taryn Mead. I'll be your guide on this 5-week tour of biomimicry. And at the moment, I'm in my backyard, which will be my quiet place to join you for our nature observations for the next 5 weeks. So I just wanted to give you a little introduction to what I hope to accomplish in the course, as well as how to do your guided nature observations. So the general purpose of this course as a continuing ed course is to expose you to the concepts of biomimicry and help you gain a fluency and familiarity with the terms and concepts that are presented. And to be able to, tell your friends and help them to interpret natural systems in a new way as well, given the opportunity. So the purpose of the exercise is to sit down in your quiet place and do some nature observations, are to really start developing a new sense of what's happening around us. A lot of times, myself, I like to run trails, and so the tendency is to move through natural places as fast as we can, or to have some destination at the end. But in this course, we're really going to challenge ourselves to be present in one particular place and really get to know that place and try to get to know the organisms that live in that place and experience that place at the same level as these other organisms for much of that time. So, one time I had a student in a follow-up interview from some research that I did. I had a student tell me that these nature observations in a biomimicry course were the first time that she ever really felt at one with the universe. And that can mean something existential, or it can mean something as simple as really being present in the place that we are in a natural system. And so I really encourage you to take advantage of this time. And I know sometimes it can feel like a chore to have to go out and add this to your list of things to do. But it's also helpful, I think, to consider it something that it's a really sort of a moment we don't usually get the time to take for ourselves, to just really be present. So anyhow, that's just kind of a preface of saying, of encouraging you to take the time. So the activity itself then will be a series of guided questions that will change every week, subtly different every time. And you'll be asked to document your experience in your nature journal and then share some of that documentation with us as a class on the discussion posts. So for instance, I'm going to turn the camera around now so you can kind of see what my spot will look like and get a sense of where I'll be experiencing every week along with you. I probably won't post every week because I'm doing this with a couple classes at the same time. So I'm not quite sure if I'll have time to do the video recordings or not, but nevertheless, I wanted you to kind of get a familiarity of the kind of things you could be looking for. So I'll turn the camera around here and do my best not to mess up the screen too much. So as you can see, my backyard is a pretty wooded place. There's a little stream back here that flows. It's a little stream that flows into a pond. I live in Gunnison, Colorado, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. So it's kind of chilly in the mornings here already, hence the hat. And fall is definitely upon us. So some things I might notice, turn back around this way. If I look at this grass here, I might notice how the predominant wind pattern has begun to flatten the grass one particular direction. And I might notice how the grass is adapted in the shape of its leaves to manage that wind and to manage potentially the heavy snows. I might notice around me that now that it's fall, the leaves have turned and fallen to the ground. They've lost their photosynthetic pigments. Right? They've lost their photosynthetic pigments, and those nutrients has returned to the cottonwood trees around me. And now that those leaves are falling, here comes a neighborhood cat I have never met. Now that those leaves have fallen, they are becoming a part of the nutrient cycle, right, for the rest of the species around, in addition to the tree species that they fell from. This cat is very friendly. You never know who you're going to meet on your little adventure in the woods every week. I might also notice sort of how additional habitat might be created by some downed trees over here, or some downed branches, not just trees, but branches. And those branches then are creating smaller structures for maybe a rabbit to burrow or a squirrel's nest or something like that. As I mentioned in my favorite organism post, I have developed a likeness for the black bear that has been occupying our neighborhood for several weeks. So I'll be curious to see. We had a compost bin that he smashed a couple times, and now there's our compost pile underneath this piece of wood. And I'm curious to see through time, and as the winter progresses, how frequently he comes back to our compost pile and moves things around in the night. So anyhow, that's just a little glimpse into my world and into my backyard. So I hope that you can spend some time and really enjoy this process. I'm always here to answer your questions. I've been doing biomimicry work for a very long time. It is the core of my career. I guess a little bit about myself. So I have a background in biology and environmental studies. My PhD is in management, specifically in innovation management, and I studied how corporations, the factors that contribute to successful adoption of biomimicry in large corporations. So I've been doing this work for about, 12, 15 years, something like that. I also teach at Western State Colorado University. We just changed our name. Here, I teach in the environmental studies department and the business school, in addition to this MCAD course. So, and I have an 8-month-old and a 3-year-old, and we're very happily settled here in Gunnison, Colorado. So I'm happy to get to know each of you as time progresses, and I look forward to seeing the great work that you do in the next 5 weeks. It's a pretty intense course, so do your best to stay on top of it and not get behind. Okay, all for now. Thanks. Bye.